I'm Amber, and welcome to Ambie's Kitchen. So today we're going to be doing a very fun recipe. Everyone loves mac and cheese, but we're having a little bit of a date night tonight, so I'm going to do an adulting mac and cheese. That's the name of this recipe, the adulting mac and cheese. So it's going to be like a fancy mac and cheese. But I'm going to do something really cool. I'm going to use a Ninja Foodi to make the entire recipe. It's a really great device. I like to try out new devices. You can see here I've got this sous vide device going for some New York strips. So this date night is going to have some nice red wine. Here's the wine. And we're going to have some New York strips and some adulting mac and cheese. So that's going to be what we're going to have for dinner. And so I'm going to show you how to make this easy recipe. It's easy because it's made all in this pot, and it's just putting a lot of the ingredients in, so it's really easy. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started with just the first part, because the first part is definitely pretty simple. So you take out this basket. This is for different types of recipes that the Ninja Foodi comes in, and you're just going to use this pot, so the basic pot that comes with the Ninja Foodi. And what we're going to do is we're going to cook our pasta first, and then we're going to add all of our stuff in it after. So if you can follow me over here, I have a box of pasta, and we're going to use ziti. Some ziti noodles. And so if you look at this box, it says that it has about 8 ounces of pasta. And so it's going to be way too much for just 2 people, but we'll go ahead and have leftovers because everyone loves leftovers and everyone loves mac and cheese. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour that whole box of pasta in there, and you can see that it's just kind of filled at the bottom. And the trick to cooking pasta in the Ninja Foodi is you always want your liquid to cover that pasta. And so that's really the gist of it. So this, I'm gonna use this chicken broth, because this chicken broth is gonna do my kind of some natural salt for me. You could use water and add salt. That's a great way to do it, and maybe a little bit of olive oil. There's definitely lots of recipes online with the Ninja Foodi and cooking pasta, but if you could come over here, I don't know if my husband could zoom in up at this and you can see that I'm gonna grab a spoon from over here. You always wanna have a spoon handy. Just kind of give it a stir and make sure all those noodles get wet. You know, you want to just make sure those noodles get wet and then kind of pat them down. And I don't know if you can see this, but it doesn't look like the noodles are really covered. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead, and how easy is that? A box of pasta and a box of broth, and we're good to go. I'm not going to add salt because I'm going to add seasoning later, and this has a lot of salt in it. But if I used water, I would add salt when I was cooking the pasta, and maybe a little bit of olive oil, just to give it a little bit of that, like, I don't know, grease component, I guess. Okay, so you naturally want to just put this lid down, but it's funny, you can't do that because you have to put the pressure cooker lid on. So I'm going to go over here. Here's the sous vide, by the way. So if you check out my YouTube page, you can see how to cook steaks or meat in sous vide. And this is some New York strip that we have going on. So I'm gonna put this in. It's gonna be tricky doing this backwards for you guys. So I'm gonna put this lid on. I'm gonna see if I can do it backwards. Maybe not. This is funny because I've never done it backwards before. Here, let me just come over here and do it the way I'm supposed to do it. Okay. And then, I don't know if you can see this, but you have to put this seal button over here. And when you get your Ninja Foodi, it does give you some tutorials. And you're gonna go ahead and turn your Ninja Foodi to pressure. It's gonna say hi. You're gonna hit start. And then you're gonna come over here, and I can't see my time. Let me see here. Okay, so right here is the button for time. You're gonna go ahead and put this down. I'm gonna do it for 4 minutes. And I'm gonna hit start. But I'm gonna talk to you about that really quick. So there's a trick that for pressure cooking for pasta is, the trick is that you will do half the time -1. in the pressure cooker. So, for example, this says that you're going to cook this pasta for 12 minutes. So the pressure cooker would be 5 minutes because it's half the time -1, which would be 5 minutes. But I did 4 minutes because I wanted, this is an adulting pasta night, right? So I want to have a little bit of it al dente. And I'm also going to be adding quite a lot of ingredients and then recooking it in the air crisp. And the air crisp component is when I put this lid down. So because I'm going to do that, I'm not going to do that 5 minutes. I'm going to do that 4 minutes. It's going to give me, it's going to buy me a little bit of time. So I don't want mushy pasta. I mean, that's just, to me, macaroni and cheese doesn't taste good if it's mushy. It just doesn't. So guess what? So this pasta's cooking. It's gonna take a little bit to go ahead and build that up to pressure. And then when we hear it beep, we're gonna release that pressure, stir the pasta. It's gonna look perfect. And then we're gonna add all of our ingredients and finish it off. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I released the pressure, and just make sure when you release the pressure, you do it where your hand's not over that hot steam that comes out. And whenever we release the pressure, it had beeped about a minute ago. And so we released the pressure after it had like warmed for 2 minutes. But you want to make sure you go ahead and release that pressure. Once it beeps, if it's warming, it's not the end of the world, but you definitely want to get that pressure released and open this up as soon as possible because you want to mix those noodles. You don't want them to get sticky. I find that releasing that pressure and opening this up as soon as possible is a really good thing to do when you're cooking pasta. So again, I'll just say that again, it beeped, I released the pressure, and then we're gonna open this up and give it a quick stir, and then we're gonna add all those adulting ingredients in to make adulting mac and cheese. Just to recap, we're gonna have some adulting mac and cheese, we're gonna put everything in this pot, and then we're gonna turn it to the air crisp mode, and go ahead and finish it off, and that will take no time at all. So we're gonna go ahead and turn this pot, and when you take this off, just make sure you don't let that steam come towards your face. So this is a good shield to go ahead and just use this kind of like a shield and kind of shake it a little bit, and we'll go ahead and place this over here. I don't know if you can kind of maybe come up here and get these noodles, but you can see that you kind of need to break them up a little bit. I'm gonna actually get a wooden spoon because I think that's gonna help. Kind of break it up. Yeah, that wooden spoon gives you a little bit more of, it's a better tool to break up the pasta. So this pasta is really, really cooked perfectly. There is some liquid in there, but from what I've seen when people are making mac and cheese is that liquid acts as a binding device. But you know what? I feel like there's quite a bit of liquid still in here, so I'm going to do a quick drain on this. So I'm going to grab, you want to make sure you grab good gloves. It actually comes with some really nice gloves too. And I'm going to just pull this out of here, and I'm going to get a quick, this basket is actually a great thing to use, the basket that comes with it. And just go ahead and pop those noodles in that basket. We'll put this back in here. And you know what, I'm going to just take advantage of letting those noodles cool off, and I'm going to pop in the ingredients and mix those, and then we'll add the noodles back in. So we'll just kind of, you know what else that's going to probably do? Is it's going to keep those noodles firm and keep them, like again, we don't want mushy pasta. So I have some different types of cheeses for our adulting mac and cheese. And I have some Havarti, which is creamy cheese. And so you can see I cut some up, and you can see it fills it about a cup, so I'm going to pop that in there. And then this is nice and hot, so that's going to help us break down these components. And then I have smoked Gouda. And then I have about a half a stick of butter, because every good mac and cheese has butter, which you're not supposed to see that. My good-looking camera guy doesn't like all that fattening stuff, but we're just going to pretend like you didn't see that, okay? And then another trick, so this is going to have 3 cheeses, is some cream cheese. And I'm not going to use all this cream cheese, but I'm going to use about half of it. So I'm going to just put about half that cream cheese in there. Yummy. Okay. So those are our cheeses. And now I'm going to share a nice secret with you about a really easy seasoning that goes into any recipe. If you could follow me over here. I don't know if you can come over here and see me. Can you come over here and see me? I'm gonna show you guys my house seasoning, and I'm gonna show you why that cheese is kind of melting in the Ninja Foodie. I'm gonna show you a really cool house seasoning that I use on all my recipes, okay? So this is what I like to call, this is like my heaven in the kitchen, okay? It is a salt and pepper mill, and it's made by Paula Deen's company, and you can find this on Amazon or in any Paula Deen store. And it's a salt and pepper mill, and I love it because it divides that up, and it just makes it so easy to just, you know, use your seasonings. So what I'm going to do is I have this other nice little component. This is from Dean and DeLuca, so I do love Dean and DeLuca. You can see I have these really cool spices over here from Dean and DeLuca. So they're a great spice company. So I have this empty mill here, and so I'm going to teach you guys how to just have some house seasoning ready to go. We're going to go ahead and put it in here, and then it's just ready to go every time you need seasoning. It's got every perfect component in there. So what I do is I always do, everything's going to be the same except the salt. The salt's going to be double, okay? So I'm going to do 3, or actually now that I just did that, I'm going to do 2. So 2 tablespoons of salt, 1 tablespoon of pepper, 1 tablespoon of Italian, just basic Italian seasoning. And you can see, I kind of did that perfect because I don't know if you can see, I barely have a little bit more room in here. And then 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. I'll pop this little shaker off. And I don't know if you can come over here and kind of zoom in on the top of this, but you can see that really did nicely. Oh, and another tip. These are from Pampered Chef, and I love these measuring cups from Pampered Chef, you guys. They're just fantastic. I'm a huge fan of Pampered Chef as well. And what I love about these measuring tools is they also serve as a stirrer on one side. So I'm just going to take that. And so I did garlic powder and Italian seasoning, salt and pepper. So salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, and garlic powder. I don't know if you can see that, but it's all stirred up nicely. And guess what? That is the perfect house seasoning for all your recipes. I'm telling you, it is so good. And this also makes an incredible Italian dressing. Olive oil, lemon juice, and this, and you're good to go. That's all you need. Okay, so I'm going to walk away from this station. We're going to come back over here. So I'm going to go ahead and take this house seasoning, and I'm going to just use my magic touch. This is seasoning to taste, but there's a lot of pasta, so I went ahead and did like 5 pinches or 6, and we can always add more. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding some of that adulting ingredients, okay? But before we do that, I'm just going to give this a quick stir because it's, oh, I wish you could see this. I don't know if you can zoom in on the top of this. Can you get down in here and look at this goodness? Is there any way to, so you can see this is all starting to bind together and come together. It's going to be great, especially when we add that milk. Okay, thank you. You're so awesome. And right now, I'm going to show you something that we have in Florida. So I'm a Florida girl, and this is called a daddle pepper. And these suckers are hot, but they have a very cool flavor. And they don't burn like, they definitely have a ton of heat, but they don't burn like some really, really, really hot, like hot peppers. And so if I was cooking for a whole bunch of people, I would do 2 because I feel like spice kind of adds a neat flavor when you have company. But because I'm just cooking for my husband and I on our date night, I'm just going to do 1 because we don't love heat as much as I know some of our guests do. So the other trick is to get these seeds out. So this pepper looks really tiny, right? Like it doesn't look like it's got a lot of bite, but it does. Like if I rub my eye right now, just after touching that pepper, I would have to, I would all my mascara would be all over my face. I would be bawling. My fingers right now are so potent. You have to be very, very careful. And even after scrubbing them and washing them, they would still, if I touched them with my tongue or even your face, like you just have to be really careful because it is super strong. The good thing about dado peppers in Florida, when you grow them outside, like if you have a couple plants, they're hard. They don't die. Like they just keep coming back every year. They're a great plant. They're a pretty plant, and they have a lot of peppers on them. Really easy to take care of. Can take a ton of heat as long as you water them, as long as they get watered. But I don't know if you can zoom in on this, Larry, my cameraman. If you can zoom in on this, you can see how finely I'm chopping this, and I'm doing that because I really want those flavors to go all through that pasta, and that's it. So another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some arugula and some baby spinach. And I think I'm going to pop that in at the end. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you a little trick that I do. I'm going to just do a rough chop on this because I love spinach and macaroni and cheese, but I don't like huge chunks of it. I almost want it to come across like it's an herb. It just gives it a really pretty look. You'll see. A really pretty look. But I don't want it to be like I'm eating a whole bunch of spinach. I don't want it to look like a whole bunch of spinach. I want it to look more like some greens in my pasta. So I'm just going to get just a quick chop and it's going to just make it really pretty. Okay, so we'll set that over to the side. I'm also going to put in some chopped tomatoes on top at the end when it's done. So when we serve that first spoonful, it just gives it, talk about adulting, right? Because kids don't necessarily love tomatoes. You have to be really creative to get kids to eat tomatoes. So this is definitely an adulting ingredient. So we're going to just chop these tomatoes up. And we're going to pop these on top when we do that air crust feature. Okay, so we have everything ready. Now I just need to add the milk and the pasta, and then we're done. So let me grab that milk. So the trick to really good, I might have to get my husband to help me on this because I have a new Pampered Chef. This is an awesome, what is it called? Can opener. But I'm not really good at using it yet. But this evaporated milk is going to make it really, really creamy. And when you make mac and cheese, that's the #1 goal, is to have a creamy mac and cheese. So I'm going to use this can of evaporated milk. Did I do it right? Let's see here. I hope I did it right. I did do it right. It was tricky. All at once I took it off, it came right off. So it actually was a lot easier and fooling to the eye. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this whole can of evaporated milk inside this mac and cheese. And that, my friends, is the secret ingredient. That evaporated milk does all the magic. So I'm just going to stir, and you know what's really nice is, and when you make a roux with normal mac and cheese, you're using like a flour and a butter, but because we have that pasta that cooked in here, and we're going to add that pasta right back in here. I didn't run water through it. I'm going to put it right back in here right now. That the fluid that I cooked the pasta in is got all that starch, and so I don't have to add any starch. That is going to be my binding, is that pasta has all that binding already attached to it, and I can already tell. I don't know if you guys can see this, and I don't know if you can kind of get a good look at this. If you can kind of come up and look at this, but you can already see the magic happening. Oh my goodness, you guys, look at this magic. Oh, this is exactly what you want to see when you're making an amazing mac and cheese. I mean, look at this. It's You see all the cheeses, all the components. So this is where the magic happens. I'm gonna dump this spinach in. I'm gonna stir the spinach in, okay? Give that nice stir. And then get this, I'm gonna just go ahead and take that off that spoon because that's all that goodness. Okay, and I'm just gonna cheat. And then what we're gonna do, oh, I can taste the heat from that pepper on my finger. And then I'm just gonna sprinkle this tomato on top. I don't know if you can kind of get a good picture of that, but we're not gonna stir in the tomato. We're just gonna kind of keep it on top. And guess what? That's it. Whew, I can taste that pepper in my, it does taste very good though. It's not overpowering. It's not burning my mouth, but it's got that spice. It's got that bite. That dado pepper is fantastic. Now, this has just been warming, so this is not too hot to the touch. But when I put this on air crisp, this sucker gets up so hot. You can never touch it. And you know what I'm going to do just to kind of make it prettier for when we open it up? Is I'm going to take a paper towel. I'm just going to clean off the sides so that when we open it up, I don't know if you can kind of see this, if you can kind of take a look at this. But kind of come in here if you can and just take a look at how pretty this looks down in here. So when we open this, oh, that looks so pretty. So when we open this back up, I'm just going to clean that off because I'm going to serve it right out of this pot. Now, if I had guests, I would go ahead and take the time to put this in a nice presentation dish. But since it's just my husband and I, and we're going to have this nice date night, I'm going to go ahead and just serve it right out of this dish. So now we're going to put this down. This is it. You know what I should do, though? I'm going to give it a taste before because I want to make sure I have all the right seasonings. Very good. It's not too cheesy, which is great because adults want it to be like more of an Italian night. So it's fantastic, and my husband's gonna love it. Okay, so this is now the lid that comes down, and we're gonna put it on air crisp. We're gonna hit start, but we're gonna, oh, hold on, I made a mistake. Air crisp. And we're going to take it down to, oh, you have to hit air crisp. And then, how do I do the time? Oh, time. There we go. You always have to hit that time to change the time. And we're going to just do 6 minutes. And then it's going to be done. And we'll open that up and we'll go ahead and give that a taste. And you guys can see our adulting mac and cheese. So come back with me in 6 minutes and let's check it out. Okay, so we're back, and this is going to be awesome. So take a look at how beautiful that looks. I don't know if you can see down in that pan. Can we get a good view of the pan? Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to just spoon out just some, oh, you can already see how beautiful that looks. I'm just going to spoon out a little bit for us to do like a little taste test on the video. Now, let's just recap. So we did our pasta in the Ninja Foodie, which we went over how to do that with pretty much any pasta. We added ingredients, 3 cheeses and some evaporated milk, and then some kind of fun things like a dado pepper and some chopped spinach and some tomatoes. And we're going to be pairing this with, I don't know if you can get a good view of that, but over here to the right of me, we have our sous vide, which is our New York strip that we're going to sear in a little bit. We're going to add it to this dish with some red wine, and we're going to have a nice date night, my husband and I. So I'm just going to give this a quick taste and make sure you don't burn your mouth because it's super, super hot. And obviously I'm licking my fingers because it's just us, but a chef would always wash their hands. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick taste and let you know how it is. So good. The noodles are cooked perfect. I'm so glad I didn't cook it that full 6 minutes, 5 minutes or 6 minutes. And I definitely really enjoy the creaminess. It's not too cheesy, which I think is nice for adulting. It has a really nice kind of Italian flavor to it because of the house seasoning that we added. And then that daddle pepper gives it a nice little bite at the end, but not too hot because we definitely want it to be enjoyable and not burning your mouth. And it pairs greatly with some red wine. So I'll be right back. Check out my YouTube channel, subscribe. If you want to see how to sous vide, you can check out that recipe as well. Bye-bye.